So hey everyone, welcome back to the Curly View. So today I'm going to do something fun, and it's called All About Eyeshadow Palettes. It's actually an eyeshadow palette tag, and so I'm just going to go right ahead and jump right in. So the first question is, what is your newest eyeshadow palette? So my newest eyeshadow palette is none other than the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership 4 Decadence palette. Just feast your eyes on this packaging. She bad. All right, so let's open her up real quick. So this is what it looks like. It almost looks like a bar. It feels heavy. It's really luxurious. The packaging, just the feel and the quality of it is really good. And on the back, you can see it's gold here in the back, but very sturdy, very nice. And feast your eyes on these beauties. So this is the Decadence palette from Pat McGrath, and these shadows are actually all metallic. They swipe beautifully, they apply beautifully. Is that a word, beautifully? Anyways, so just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So my Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, Decadence. Beautiful. Okay, so my oldest eyeshadow palette is, okay, I'm struggling to put this away. Let me just put it on the side here. My oldest eyeshadow palette is actually the Urban Decay Naked palette. Now, I've had this bad boy, I'm gonna say, for over, I think about 8 years. I don't know why I just don't throw it away in the trash. I mean, I don't know why keeping it around is still here. I don't know. I don't even use it no more. I just keep it stored in my drawer. But this is my oldest palette. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like this palette was just always, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really vibrant in terms of color. And it only has two matte shades right here and here. So, but I keep it around for sentimental reasons because this was my first eyeshadow palette. Next up, I have my most expensive eyeshadow palette. My most expensive eyeshadow palettes are my Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. In fact, where's the husband? I'm looking for my husband, making sure he can't hear what I get ready to tell you guys. All right, so these eyeshadow palettes run for $125, okay? But they're worth it. When I tell you, they are absolutely worth it. And they are stunning. This is the Mothership, Divine Rose Mothership 8. So this is the packaging. See that packaging? This is quality, okay? Look at this. Gorgeous. And let me open it up so you can take a better view. Look at these colors. Stunning. So I'm not going to go into details today about these palettes because what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do a separate video on my Pat McGrath palettes, but I wanted you to see my most expensive eyeshadow palettes. So yes, my Pat McGrath. Now my most affordable eyeshadow palette. My most affordable would be this eyeshadow palette, and this is actually from Juvia's Place, and this is the Warriors by Juvia, and it's pretty much, isn't that so pretty? That is gorgeous. I have a little bit of a runny nose. Is allergies, people, allergies. So it's a neutral palette. It has a lot of pretty gold colors in it. It has metallics and shimmers, and it does have 3 matte colors here, here, and here. So this is my most affordable. I think this palette runs for about $20, so not too bad, you know. Now my everyday eyeshadow palette. This is hard for me because at the moment I am loving my Pat McGrath Mothership 8, okay? But before the Mothership 8, I'm gonna say my everyday palette would be my Morphe 3502. This is a palette that I use regularly. And I'll quickly show you what this looks like. And it's just a lot of neutral brown girl colors. Just gorgeous. So I typically use this palette, especially like when I'm going to work and stuff. It's just easy. There's a lot of mattes in here. There's also some shimmers, some satins as well. So yeah, so this is my everyday eyeshadow palette. Now my most colorful eyeshadow palette would be my Jaclyn Hill palette. And this one is also by Morphe, and I'll give you a look at that. Just lots of bright, beautiful colors in this palette. Okay. This is also a really nice palette. Yeah. Lots of nice matte colors in here, neutrals, and then you have your brights. Really pretty. Now, the next question is, what is your smallest eyeshadow palette? I actually don't have any small eyeshadow palettes. I just don't buy them. You know what? I'm lying. I have something coming in the mail. Ain't reached yet. But that would be my most color. That would be my smallest eyeshadow palette. It's just not here. It's another item from Pat McGrath. My biggest eyeshadow palette, it would probably be the Morphe eyeshadow palettes, just because of the amount of shadows that you get in these palettes. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35 eyeshadows. So it would definitely be the Morphe palettes. Now, what is the eyeshadow palette with the best memory? The eyeshadow palette to me with the best memory is my Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I absolutely love this palette. And whenever I'm traveling, I'm going on a trip or overnight, even out of the country overseas, this is the palette that I always reach for. First of all, it's absolutely stunning. It has a beautiful big mirror, right? And the colors are just gorgeous. I tend to reach for this palette, especially when I'm traveling, just because it's like a one-stop shop in terms of everything that I need, and it's compact enough where it doesn't take up a lot of room as well. And isn't this packaging gorgeous as well? It has a lot of photos from different places around the world. Just really stunning. So, the eyeshadow palette worth the hype. So to me, the eyeshadow palette that was worth the hype is the Jackie Aina Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. Have you seen this palette? This is everything. This is everything, okay? Just gorgeous. I love this palette so much. In fact, it's what I have on my eyes today. She has so many pretty names in here. She has Dollars and Lituation, Trust Issues, Shockington. I just love that. One is called Wiggley's. This is a brown girl's dream, okay? Just stunning. And I'm so glad that I purchased this palette. Now, what's next? My favorite eyeshadow palette from my favorite brand. Really? Pat McGrath. I mean, we don't need to say anything else. I mean, Pat McGrath, period. Hands down, the best. Period. Once you try Pat, once you get one palette from Pat McGrath, it's over. It's going to become an addiction. For me, it's an addiction. I mean, look at that. Can you see that? Gorgeous. And she has what she calls special shades in her eyeshadow palettes. I don't know if you can see that, but no worries. I'm going to do a separate review on these eyeshadow palettes. The eyeshadow palette not worth the hype. I don't have that eyeshadow palette in my stash anymore, but the eyeshadow palette to me that was not worth the hype would be the Anastasia Beverly Hills. It was the Modern Renaissance palette. I didn't like that palette. You know, in fact, I gave it away to one of my sisters. I didn't like that palette. I felt the colors in that palette kind of washed me out. I felt like they were a little ashy. They were a little dry. I just didn't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a picture here so that you can see what that palette looks like. But for me, not worth the hype. And my most used, this is the last question, my most used eyeshadow palette would be this one, because the 3502, because this is the one that I typically use during the work week. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I thought it would be fun to come on and, you know, do something like this. I've never done anything like this before, and yeah, it was fun. So if anybody else wants to join and participate in the eyeshadow palette tag, please feel free to join, enjoy it, and have fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.